The Khan of Gods!
Okay, so this is the Xiaomi Redmi 8, a super budget phone from Xiaomi that honestly the price makes no sense. $110 for this phone and it packs a little bit of a punch. But is a budget phone at this price point actually worth buying? In this video, we're gonna find out. So let's start the video off with an unboxing. As you can see, this phone comes in a white box just like the Redmi Note 8 and the boxes actually look similar. But anyway, when you open up the box, you're going to get this small white box that basically contains a SIM ejector tool, a TPU flexible plastic case, some paperwork, that is the warranty card and some manual and stuff like that, a service card as well. And you also get the phone which is already in use, so the front and back stickers have already been peeled off. Quick sidebar though, it's a little bit insane that a phone that costs $110 actually still has a case in the box. Like, how do they even make any money from these phones? The only other things that you get in the box are going to be the charge brick and basically the USB cable, which I've pretty much never actually used before. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the specs that this phone is packing. This unit that I'm with has 3GB of RAM and 32GB of internal storage. The screen on this phone is an IPS LCD that's 720p by 1520 pixels, which is honestly not great, especially when you consider the fact that it's got 270 pixels per inch density, which is again not very great. But when you start to listen to all these specs, you start to realize that this phone is not even meant to be any kind of flagship killer or compete with anybody. This is just literally Xiaomi's entry-level super budget dirt cheap phone. Speaking a little bit more about those specs that are not that great, you're getting a Snapdragon 439 and the Adreno 505 chipset. So don't be expecting to have some sort of ridiculous, fantastic gaming experience with this phone. It's going to be slow when you start pushing it with PUBG and stuff like that. That said though, if you're not somebody who is trying to play PUBG on their phone at very high settings and play Asphalt and all that, you probably don't even need to care about this. And by the way, that screen I spoke about is a 6.22 inch display, so it's actually quite similar to what you get on the Redmi Note 8. The only problem though is that one is an HD display while this one is a 720p display. And that display actually holds you back a little bit because you're not going to be able to stream content in HD. I mean, Netflix, YouTube, stuff like that, you're going to have to be watching your videos in 720p or less. I think though that the part where this phone really starts to shine is going to have to be the design of the phone itself. It does not look and it does not feel like a phone that costs $110. They actually made this look very, very premium. I think though the part that's going to let a lot of people down is going to have to be the cameras of this phone. It's a dual camera setup on the back with a 12 megapixel f1.8 shooter and a depth sensor that's 2 megapixels, so for your portrait mode and stuff like that. And on the front of the phone you're going to get an 8 megapixel f2 shooter that can actually also do HDR for your selfies. Yes, I know that this specs sound exactly like something you would get on a Google Pixel or something, but I promise you the cameras are not great. The photos that they take look washed out, they don't have a lot of dynamic range, and they're just not very good photos. And I'm talking about the front and the back cameras, they're just not great. Now, this phone comes stuck in a box with Xiaomi's MIUI 10, but Xiaomi already pushed out an update to the MIUI 11, which I did not bother to install because I had another Xiaomi phone, so I wanted to test it first there. But anyways, they improved a lot of things, added some extra features to MIUI, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for saying this, but my favorite Android launcher aside stock Android has to be MIUI. I did not expect to like it, but it really grew on me. I started to really love it after a while. One thing is though, MIUI does have its issues. A lot of people complain about getting advertising and pop-ups in their phones. I never experienced that, but I did experience some sort of interstitial field that comes up when you try to download or install anything from the App Store, which I thought was really silly. And of course, the phone does come with a few applications pre-installed, some of which are useful, some maybe not. I mean, I like the fact that there's a screen recorder, I like the fact that I get an IR blaster and I can control things like my TV and my AC and stuff around my house. Very helpful applications, but you may not want or need them. I think one of the biggest selling points for this phone is going to have to be the battery life. It's got USB-C fast charge and you get 5000 mAh of battery. So as a second phone or a secondary device, this phone can give you a easy 4 days of use if you're not using it heavily. The fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone works really fine. It's not the fastest, but it's also not the slowest. It unlocks the phone pretty quickly, and that works. Now, for a phone like this though, I don't advise you to use face unlock or anything like that because it's not safe, and especially when you consider how poor the camera quality is. Somebody who isn't even your twin can probably unlock your phone. And speaking a little bit more about the cameras, for video, on the front and the back of the phone you get 1080p at 30 frames per second, and the videos are absolutely terrible. There's no stabilization, it doesn't look great. Whether you have a lot of light or you're in low light, the cameras simply don't perform that great. Point blank simple. Now, this is starting to sound like a negative review, but it's actually not. See, here's the thing, this phone isn't for everyone. It's an entry-level phone for the absolute entry-level type of people. For example, if you need to buy a phone for your grandma or your grandpa or your mom or your dad, somebody who is slightly older, you know, the older generation, the kind of people that don't have Twitter accounts or Instagram accounts or anything like that, the kind of people who wake up in the morning and they want to read the news, the kind of people who simply check their Facebook like once every month, the kind of people who receive phone calls, make phone calls and send text messages with their phone primarily, and then they drop it and then they don't know where they put it for the rest of the day. This is a perfect phone, especially because those are the kind of people who always forget to charge their phones. And at 5,000 milliamps per hour, this phone is pretty much not going to die on them. On paper, a phone that has Snapdragon 439 may not sound that great. In fact, it's honestly a little below par for anybody who is younger than 35 years old. But the thing is though, it actually works perfectly for day-to-day tasks. If all you're doing is playing Candy Crush on your phone and Subway Surfers, and you know, you're checking Facebook and checking Twitter and checking Instagram and you know, sending messages to your friends all day and texting and calling and stuff like that, you are not going to have any problem with this phone. There is no lag and it works smoothly. The problems, however, begin when you try to do more with the phone. If you try to become an Instagram slave queen with this phone and take some fantastic photos, they are not going to look great. If you try to use this phone to play PUBG all day and you know, you're trying to get all the kills and stuff in asphalt and whatnot, it's not going to work out very well. You will be able to do it at very low settings, but at the end of the day, who really wants to be playing video games on a phone that's got a 720p display, and you know, you have to reduce the settings all the way down, and then there's going to be lag and slowdowns and stuff like that. Now, speaking about the speakers, this phone, just like the Redmi Note 8, has some sort of mono speaker that's hollowed out on the bottom, and it's exactly where you probably put your fingers if you're holding your phone upright to text, so you should pay attention to that. But as for the performance of the mono speaker themselves, when you actually play music with this thing and leave it in a room and walk out, you can still hear it clearly and it sounds nice. It's got very fair bass. It's not the best sounding speaker in the world, but I mean, for the price and for what this phone is, the speakers are actually really good. Oh, and yes, this phone still has an headphone jack in 2019, Q4 2019 in fact. So here are my final thoughts. For a phone that costs $110, this phone feels like a steal. Holding it in your hand, it doesn't even feel like something that's that cheap. It feels like it costs twice that price. But where you start to notice is going to be the performance, and that's just the truth of the matter. Another truth that I would like to plug is the fact that this phone is not for everybody. As a secondary phone, like a second phone that isn't really your main device, it's a perfect phone. It works great. As a phone for the elderly, it works great. As a phone for a kid who is just getting their first smartphone and you know, getting their feet wet with smartphones and stuff, this works absolutely fantastic. But if you're buying this phone as a main device and you're trying to use it to do everything, you're probably going to hate yourself after a while. Here's another quick truth for people who continue to buy Transsion mobile phones and Techno mobile phones. This phone is cheaper than your flagship phones, and it's better. And this is like the cheapest entry level, most dirt cheap phone that Xiaomi is selling right now. Think about that for a second. As far as value for money goes, this is an absolute go ahead and buy this stuff right now. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this or the global version on Amazon, but I did find the Redmi 8A, which is like the younger brother to this one, and it has like 2 GB of RAM instead of 3. I don't know if 2 GB of RAM is going to absolutely frustrate you, but I'm going to leave a link in the description below so that you can go check that out. if you want to buy this phone, but if you insist on buying it anyway and you want the Redmi 8 especially, you're probably going to have to check like AliExpress or Banggood.com or something like that. Anyways, those were my thoughts on the Xiaomi Redmi 8. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I guess I will see you on another video that was shot by Kagan.